welcome into the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star, and today we are going to be doing part 3 of our plush that sold in Q1, or the first quarter of 2022. Today we're going to be taking a look at the plush that sold in March. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys and make myself real small. There we go. And we'll start with the most recent. Our plush sales were down in March. It was a very slow month for plush. Not a lot of them sold, but I do have every single one pulled up that did, and we'll talk about each one just a little bit. This is a Dandy Christmas Snowflake Teddy. She actually was just in our What Sold on eBay video for Monday last week. What sold on eBay? That's so fun to say. Dandy is a good brand. A lot of the Dandy plush are bread and butter, but there are some that are more collectible or worth a little bit more money. Depends on the size and what animal you have. As a general rule, I source all Dandy that I find. The Snowflake Teddies, they have a male and a female version for every year. So, of course, the older ones are going to be worth more. This princess one sold for $19.99. Our cost was about $1 in a wholesale lot, and she did ship first class. Okay, and then we have a Gans Webkinz black bear. The Gans Webkinz, I know I tell you guys this all the time, they're hit or miss. There's some that are worth a lot, and there's some that are worth nothing, they're poop, and there's some right in the middle of bread and butter. It can depend on whether or not they have their code, but I have seen some very obscure, rare ones with no codes comp really high. So it just depends on a lot of factors. These are, again, one that, as a general rule, I'll always source if the price is right. If they're 50 cents or less, if they're in a bundle or a lot, I will always grab these guys. This one was one of the, ones that wasn't worth as much, but he was about 50 cents, so that's okay. He did sell for $11.24 and shipped first class. Then we have this Polanka Parade Sable Antelope. He is so cool, and I actually have like a solid memory of finding him in a box, like a lot or a wholesale I bought, maybe even a mystery box. And I remember pulling him out and being very excited about how super cool and unique he was. I believe it was a video I was doing in Pittsburgh. It may have been a live show. I don't know. But I can remember finding this, but I don't remember where I bought it from or how much he was. We're going to assume he was around $1 because that's usually like the top price I'll pay for plush and wholesale lots. But he's taken a while to sell. He was very slow. But he did finally move for best offer, $16.19, and shipped first class. But this is just an example of like unique plush that I get excited about because it's different and it's unique. This came out of our free plush. You guys have probably already heard me say this, but we bought a huge lot of clothing in like a wholesale lot from another seller, and they threw in like 200 plush just as here, take this, when we bought the clothes. And so there were a lot of plush that normally I wouldn't source or even take the time to list, but because they were free to us, they're pure profit. If something doesn't have a cost of goods, why not list it? Because any amount that you're going to get for it is absolute pure profit. It's just money that you're making, especially with plush and like ties and stuff like that. Anything that is like really quick to photograph and get listed. I don't mind listing stuff like this if it was free or it was like in with other valuable plush in a lot. Would I source this? Would I pay for this and buy it as a singular item? Probably not. But plush is really super easy to photograph and list. So here's Gidget from The Secret Life of Pets. She's very small. She's like tiny. So she did, of course, ship first class and sold for $10.99. Here's an example of poop that you should never source. Hard Rock Cafe bears, guys, are a hard pass. We had a ton of them that came with a lot of Disney and Boyd's bears, so they got listed. They've been around for 4 or 5 years. Yeah, Plush is slow and Plush is very long tail, but yeah, these are poop. Pass on the Hard Rock Cafe bears and pass on the Hard Rock Cafe t-shirts too. None of the Hard Rock Cafe stuff seems to comp very high or move anymore. I think it had like a following, people that collected it, maybe like in the 90s or, yeah, probably the 90s, but they're just not anymore. I took a best offer of 10 and he shipped first class. Next up, we have a Build-A-Bear Star Wars plush. This is Rey from the newer Star Wars movies. Build-A-Bear Star Wars got a lot going on for it. The comps were disappointingly low. Again, there's a lot of these plush that should sell or list for a lot higher than they are. But I don't know if it's a combination of new people that just don't know how to comp or know what they're doing, or folks purposely just undercutting everybody and racing to the bottom. But a lot of these plush that should be a lot more valuable when you go to comp them, thinking, oh, I got, something that should be worth 50. You're looking at 20 and 15. There's some plush that I know that I've sold in the past for lots of money that are now going 12 free ship. And it's like, what? But this is one of them. So I did get her for 50 cents. That was a plus. She came from the Goodwill back in Pittsburgh. She sold it on a best offer of $16.87. But that, typically should have been like a $25 or $30 Build-A-Bear, in my opinion. I've been selling a lot of Build-A-Bears over the years. The plain ones that are just plain teddy bears or other animals, I won't start below 18. So, the fact that a Star Wars one sold for $16.87, yes, I know even the newer Star Wars are older and they're not as popular, but it's just something I wanted to mention because it's kind of like, I'm finding this with a lot of blush lately. They just, when I go to comp them, it's disappointing and it's kind of frustrating. So if you want to sell plush, make sure that you are listing them at their value. I understand that sales are slow for some folks, for a lot of folks actually, for most of us. But undercutting other sellers and participating in that race to the bottom isn't going to help anyone. You can price right at the lowest of what you're seeing on the comps or in the middle if you want yours to sell first, and you can always entertain offers. But if everyone else has something listed for 20 or 25, there's no reason you need to go in at 18 or 15 because that just adds to the problem. And yes, I did get on my soapbox a little bit. I tend to because it's really frustrating when I see all these plush that should be worth more that aren't. So this skunk is a Little Miracles. It's really cute. And any animals that, like this that look, kind of real or realistic, I will always put that in the title, realistic stuffed animal. There are folks that like their realistic animals, so I just use it as a good keyword. This skunk was, I believe, $1 and sold for $11.50 and shipped first class. And then next up we have a Peter Rabbit 8-inch plush. Got a cute little hat and coat. And it is official Peter Rabbit. So this was another plush that had no cost of goods. That was free to us. And so he sold on a best offer of 12, and I was okay with that. Pure profit. He also shipped first class. So, in the month of March, we only had 8 plush that sold. Kind of a really slow month. But again, sales have been slow all around. And plush sales were down. I have been seeing an increase in our plush sales just since the month of April started. So here's hoping they get better. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Help us feed a hungry hippo. And until next time, guys, go be productive, go make some money. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Y'all are the best. Bye.